I had to sit down with myself and be like, girl, you can do better. Okay. I quit my job in corporate. I was drowning and I didn't even know it. I needed that lesson in order to evolve to this higher version of myself. I'm betting on myself and I'm taking myself seriously. Where do I begin? I feel like so much has changed, like for the good, but so much has changed. I'm not even the same person anymore.
We're announcing a bunch of new features for our creators out there.
I've evolved in so many different ways, and now I'm finally ready to come back to YouTube, take it seriously, put in the time and effort that's needed to see the growth that I want, to connect with the people that I think are out there, and to build my own online community. To start with, I quit my job in corporate. I have changed my lifestyle entirely. I got married to my best friend, and my health is actually been amazing just from making all these small changes along the way. When I first started YouTube, I was getting my master's degree. I had just gotten my locks installed. COVID hit the same month that my locks were installed. And I was helping my sister part-time with her business, and I had a full-time job. I was drowning and I didn't even know it. I was out of oxygen. I was turning blue, and it was just little by little I was dying. So that took a toll on me. I felt like I was in so deep and that I had chosen a path and that I had to see it through in regards to school and work and things of that sort. I did end up getting my degree, and I thought that was going to make a big change. It was a master's in business analytics. My previous degree before that was in marketing. The next part of my path I thought was going to be becoming an analyst, which I did get a job as an analyst with that title, and it was hell. Honestly, it was not a great experience, and I'm not gonna say it's because of the job title at all. I think there were a lot of other factors that were already happening to me. I couldn't do it. After long talks with my now husband, I finally stepped away and was like, it's okay. I have a choice in this, and that's when I think I had the first moment of empowerment. And since then, I've just been making more and more and more decisions because I know that I have the power to. I think the rose-colored glasses have come off. There's almost nothing that I have to do. And I think sometimes we think that we have to do things because of different circumstances, but you don't. You really don't. If you don't like how your life is going today, make some changes so it's different from a year from now. It's like planting a seed. So yeah. During that time, making content was not at the top of my list during that time at all. The thing was that I really did enjoy it when I actually got around to doing it. But when you're working 40 hours a week on your regular job, another 10 to 20 hours a week on a part-time job, and then going to school for a master's program, it can be a lot. You don't really have any time outside of that for yourself. And at that time, I was using content as a hobby of mine that I enjoyed doing. But content takes a lot of time to do. And if you want to get good at it and see the results, I do think you kind of have to take it seriously. You can post all day long, but the marketing side of me knows that's not a strategy. And it was frustrating, One of the talks that I had with my husband was that he was like, I think you really could do this thing. I think you just have to believe in yourself. So this year, actually in January, I was like, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to do it for real. I set up all of this back end stuff. I started doing a lot of studying on the type of content that I wanted to create and also fit the lifestyle that I'm in right now. I'm in a soft girl lifestyle, not the aesthetically pleasing matchas and Pilates. Yes, I like those things too, but a realistic soft girl lifestyle is one where you're making hard decisions on who is going to have access to you and what you're going to allow in your life. In order for it to be soft, you deserve to have a soft life. You deserve to be treated like a human. And at one time, I don't think I really thought of myself as human. I think I thought that I could withstand anything, I could do everything, and that was kind of my whole downfall. I had to start being nicer to myself and softer to myself in order to show other people how I expected to be treated. So there was no more allowing people to treat me however they wanted. That had to go. There was no, I get the last bits of you, or you're not showing up for me, but I'm doing everything for you. That had to go. That was draining me at the end of the day. I wasn't allowing people anymore that couldn't clap for me, because I clap for everyone around me. Even if I can't do what you're doing, I'm not in the industry, if I love you, I clap for you. And that wasn't necessarily being reciprocated. And the only way I was able to see that was by taking those rose-colored glasses off and seeing things for what they truly were. The other thing that soft living has taught me, sometimes when I want to be a people pleaser, I ask myself, would that same person do that for me? And if the answer is no, I simply don't do it. Do I do it with every single thing? Like, no. You have to understand that, like, at one time, I was doing things for people that they would just never, ever, ever do for me. I was bending over backwards. And I just wanted to show up for them. And I thought that if I continued to show up for them, show out for them, they would do the same for me eventually. And I had to think, like, it's been years since I've seen some of these people in person because of COVID. And now that COVID's over and we can see each other, I still haven't seen them. Or not for something for me. Like, maybe they've invited me to stuff that's for them and I'll show up. But if I invite them to anything that's for me, for example, my wedding. I had my wedding end of March this year. I got engaged a year before that. So my wedding invites went out fairly early, enough time for anyone that I felt was close to me to be able to attend, make the arrangements. I don't ask people to show up for my birthdays, for almost any celebration in my life, but I wanted the people that loved me, were close to me in my life, to show up for this one. That was like where I draw the line. Old Anisha would have said, oh, it's okay. You know, if you can't make it, it's fine. But the soft girl version of me that has evolved was essentially like, if you can't make it, we have nothing else to discuss, because I don't ask for very much. And I had to identify that about myself early on. Like, I really don't ask for a lot. I'm an introvert who stays to themselves. Now I want more. Like, I'm raising the bar. Like, the bare minimum is showing up at this point. And the other thing I wanted to mention about my wedding was that we kept it small. It was under 50 guests. That was our entire goal. And we did that. So it was just our closest family and friends. And we gave them a long while beforehand to attend. And some people, you know, would probably say like, oh, I would never cut off someone just because they can't make my wedding. But I'm not talking about anything that was like an emergency. I'm saying like someone telling me they're not coming well beforehand, months in advance. That's where I'm like, oh, we were never as tight as I thought we were. Which, you know, then I have to look back at myself. It's a reflection of what I've allowed. So it may sound harsh, but I'm actually not upset at anyone that I've allowed in my life, like pre-COVID, pre-wedding, pre-everything, that they taught me something. I needed that lesson. I needed that experience in order to evolve to this higher version of myself that is just like, no, girl, you deserve a lot more. So during all of that, like before this year, I was not in a good mental place. I had a lot of work to do and I put content on the back burner. But now I'm back, and I'm back with a vengeance, like a soft vengeance. Nice vengeance that's not gonna offend anyone, because I'm just trying to, you know, be the best version of me. It's for me. And honestly, since I've started taking my social media seriously and creating a strategy and a plan and using my skills that I was already using from past jobs and experiences and even on my sister's company, I've seen growth. I've seen improvements. My engagement is like just ticking on up. And I think if I continue to put in that effort, that energy, and that knowledge, then I'll continue to see growth out of it. I do have like another friend that creates content, and she always asks me like, how do you stay motivated? Just keep on putting it out there, you know, when you don't see that engagement or the likes like that you expect when you put a lot of time into a piece of content. And my answer is always something along the lines of, well, I don't have an expectation on exactly how many likes or how much engagement. If I connect with somebody, if I get 10 likes, I'm happy. It may teach me that maybe I don't need to create content that way, or I need to make sure that my, you know, quality is better. I learned something from creating. I can tell that I get better and better and better as I put more out there. It's like practice, you know? It is different than creating content for, I would say, other companies or brands, just because it's a lot more personal. I don't want to be like this whole fake version of what you would see, you know, if you were to see me out on the street. Like, no, this is me. This is my page, and I'm giving you pieces of that in content form. That's how I think about it. I'm just hoping to connect with others out there. And I would really love to find some other content creators in Georgia to connect with, Black content creators, because I think that would be awesome. But I got inspired to make a post like this from, I think her name was Justine, and she probably doesn't even know this, but she was talking on a couple of videos about how she quit her job and she's doing content full time and how difficult it's been. And that just really resonated with me. And I was like, you know what? It's really hard to see people going on like a real journey. Like it's great to see you if you got to the end and you have 1 million followers. Like, this is how it blew up. But like, I want to see the journey. I love the storytelling like version of it rather than bam, you do these 5 things and you blow up, because I don't believe that's how it works. I don't. I want to be doing something that I feel passionate about, that I'm invested in, and building my life behind the scenes for that was a big piece of it. So not only did I quit my corporate job, I also started creating space between me and other people that weren't necessarily matching my energy where I was going. I went around them and it felt draining. If I talked to them and it felt draining, I would kind of get an idea that this is probably the end of the road, and that's okay. We're making space for either new people or just for me. Maybe I was just making space for me. I moved slower. I'm no longer helping my sister with her business anymore, because I did have to let her know, like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. You know, this has been amazing. I was a part of your journey in any way or form, but now I've got to go off and make my own journey. This is my time. I don't want to look back and say I wasted my 20s and 30s building up corporation dreams or other people's dreams, and I never took a chance on myself. So this is my one chance. I might have more, but this is my chance on myself, and I feel like I deserve that. I've been saying I deserve that a lot more. I wake up now with energy. I wake up with passion nowadays, and I'm excited to work on stuff. I used to dread working on some things because it just felt like it sucked the life out of me, and that I was not being compensated for exactly what I was doing. And then people would treat me like crap over it. And I just never want that for myself again. So like I said, I still might go back to corporate, but it will never be in the same way that I showed up before. There will be no code switching. There will be no like, I'm going to make myself different to make you comfortable. Hey.
Try that to the camera.
Yep. Well, sorry, my hubby came home. But as I think I was saying, like, I really built my life around myself instead of building it around others, if that makes sense. That was, you guys can probably hear him cutting grass outside now. So that was one of the big shifts in my life, for just kind of starting over entirely. I mean, you only have one life to live, so you might as well take a chance on yourself and living the life that you see for yourself and that you think you deserve, and working on that. There is so much more energy and passion that goes towards something that you're heavily invested in, rather than feeling like you're not being appreciated, or that your time is being wasted, or that your energy and creativity is being drained from you. There is no amount of money that could pay me to go back to being at the state of mental health that I was in during the time that I was putting other people and other companies before myself. Like, I have such an appreciation for the little things at this point that I could never ever consider going back to something like that. Now I can wake up in the mornings and enjoy a cup of coffee that I grinded, that I French pressed, and take a moment to plan my week or my day. And that plan can be around me and my dreams and my aspirations and how I'm gonna make my money to continue on this lifestyle. Instead of it just being all of my time is taken, I'm driving to work, I'm sitting in a cold ass office that I hate being in, around people that make me feel like crap. I'm getting home, I barely have any time to make any food, I probably have to eat out, I'm exhausted, I'm not working out, and then I get up and do it again the next morning. And then I spend my weekends running all the errands and doing all the chores that I didn't have to do. I didn't have the time to do during the week. I was just on a rat race. I was like a hamster on a wheel. Y'all, I'm from the South, so you're gonna hear like references like that. Let me just put a disclaimer out there. I had to sit down with myself and be like, girl, you can do better. You can definitely do better. And when I started making the shift, one of the things that I didn't expect to happen was anger. I was so angry at myself for just allowing myself to be in those situations to get to that point. But I needed that in order to move on. It was like my motivation to be like, never again. If it doesn't align with I'm going what I'm doing and it doesn't feel good, it's not for me. You can have it. And I may work another job, but it's not going to come before me. It's not going to come before my family, my relationships, because those are the things that keep me grounded, like in this earth. That job you're doing for somebody else, some corporation. I know that everybody hears this all the time, but like, you really have to understand that you are expendable and start treating them like they're expendable. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Don't give more than what you're getting. Why are you going above and beyond? Why are you giving so much more than you're getting? I had to go through this in my early 20s to realize that, like, just because I go above and beyond doesn't mean that I'm going to be compensated for it. It's not going to be recognized. It's probably going to be like someone is probably going to take credit for it, and my life is not going to change. I had to fight tooth and nail with some companies just to get a raise, just to get a promotion, when I'll be making big changes at their company. And then I was like, what if I took all of those talents, that energy, and I put it in myself? Like, just what if? What if I took control of all of my time and energy and, like, funneled it? Why don't I believe in myself enough to put my skills out front and build my own space? Because companies are willing to pay me for it, so I know that they're needed skill set. You know, it's a needed skill set. That's really, I just had to change my mindset on a lot of it. It sounds crazy, but like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't sound crazy. My page is still going to be around hair, of course, my locks in the city. But I am going to incorporate some other items, and I think that come more naturally to me, because I want to show up and be authentic. So you may get some lifestyle in there. You may get some storytelling in there. I don't want to feel like I'm stuck in this little box, especially when I feel like I am so much more. So that's just a heads up. You can stay on for the ride. If you were just here for the hair, it is still coming. And if you're here for the evolvement, you can stick on for that ride too. I hope that maybe my journey a little bit will kind of encourage someone or be relatable in a sense that, yes, like, being a corporate girly was like the thing to do during COVID, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Not to say that I won't go back to a corporate world, like never ever or anything, but I don't think that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Manifest what you want.